Do you think people maybe working from home will help that in that so they're not traveling to the city centres and like safe like local independent cafes will be getting better business because people are going in the centres and going to Starbucks and Costa. Do you think it's the same with your business?
Absolutely, yes. But there's a lot of businesses that has had the opposite effect of that. So us,
Yes.
South Queensferry, we are, and it's not lost on me how lucky we are. Queensferry, there's kind of two things. The houses in Queensferry are very expensive. People have just spent a whole year not spending any money. So people that couldn't afford to move to South Queensferry now can. So, the houses and they've put up a whole bunch of new houses and that, they're filled up. So it's bringing people out from the city. And, during lockdown, I don't know how much, anyone, you or whatever, but Queensferry was a hot spot for your daily walk. Everybody came to Queensferry to walk their dogs or to, grab a coffee or whatever. So lots of people found Queensferry that didn't know where it was. They didn't know that there was things to do. They didn't know there was shops, didn't know there was cafes. And people working from home, whereas before, so they're Monday to Friday, we weren't, they didn't have time to come down to the high street Monday to Friday, and then their weekends would be spent with their family or whatever, not necessarily inside Queensferry. Whereas all of a sudden they had an hour's lunch break on a Wednesday and they were coming down to the high street and they were coming in, we were meeting people that had lived in Queensferry for 5 years and they'd never been in, or they, they've never had a chance to come in, or they always had their kids or whatever, and they now had time to go into the local independent shops. But that is uniquely to places like South Queensferry. There is so many independent shops and small businesses that relied heavily on office workers that, they pay the rates and the rent of city centre locations that are now not getting the footfall. People moving, university students that, there's little kind of places in Edinburgh that were all students that suddenly didn't have anyone living there because all the students were going home. So it definitely benefited us to an extent. And it's not lost on me that that's uniquely to us. There's there's a lot of people that now know South Queensferry exists that wouldn't have done if it wasn't for the pandemic. And that's something I'm thankful of.